So, the main thing I want to talk about today, though, is this time of year. As we go into October, there's this weird 4 to 6 week window I constantly find that home improvement professionals struggle with for several different reasons. One, it's not really winter yet. And so you have a hard time like switching gears into winter mode, but yet then you still have all of the spring projects you kind of burn through. All of those are done. There's not a lot of demand for our services for the winter side, the summer side of things, but yet we're not at winter yet. We're not even at fall season. Most of us haven't started up the leaf cleanups yet as much. We haven't really started thinking about snow or anything like that. And so there's this weird in-between season because, for example, with mowing and landscaping, you book out like crazy during the spring. You're super busy, just absolutely like drinking from a fire hose. And you might book yourself out 6, 8 weeks out in the future. And then throughout the summer, you're going to burn through that backlog. Well, now it's September and going into October, and there's this weird sort of time frame where you don't have enough work, and yet you aren't really in winter. And you know that right around the corner, you got fall cleanups, leaf cleanups. It's going to get really busy. Bunch of property cleanups. The wind's going to start blowing. You're going to need branches cleaned up. You might need some mulch down before the winter. All that's coming. But you have this like next 4 to 6 weeks where it's like, kind of slow. Like, and you spend money on advertising and you just can't get any leads. Why? Because there's no demand. People don't have any pain right now. The grass isn't growing very much. You don't need a project done for your outside living when you're going into winter. If someone needed a patio done, if they needed their outdoor living space spruced up, they got that done in spring or in summer so they can enjoy the landscape throughout that period of time. So as we go into fall season, it's going to be this weird spot, this weird period before leaf season and before having it really, really busy where you're going to have a bit of a gap. And so what do you do during that period? And I am taking questions today. So if you have questions, feel free to comment below. I have about 30 minutes so I can get through as many as I possibly can. What do you do for the next 6 to 8 weeks? Well, number one, this is the time to make sure that you have enough employees to where if you need to let one or two go because random stuff happens, that you're able to do so. Now, it's not super busy. You're not getting tons of leads coming in the door. So make sure that your work that you are doing is being done profitably. A lot of times I always encourage people to grow and expand during spring rush when there's tons of demand, because every dollar you spend on customer acquisition cost is so much more effective during the spring season. So for example, you might spend $20, $30 for customer acquisition cost during the spring rush, whereas right now, all of a sudden that jumps to 150 because people don't really need your services. And then in the winter, it could even be even more than that, given the fact that it's frozen and there's no one really needing our services. And so I really recommend people focus. If you're trying to grow, I would always try to recommend doing that during spring rush because it's the most efficient. Now, you can only grow so much in a given window of time, like 2 or 3 months during the spring rush. So therefore, sometimes growing this time of year is actually a good thing because you're able to grow more sustainably. You're able to grow, say, from $40,000 a month to $50,000 a month over the next few months versus trying to go from $40,000 to $80,000. Sorry, what did I say? 400,000. I said $40,000 per month to $80,000 per month, like doubling next spring rush. That can be a big jump. That can be a lot of employees at one time, a lot of trucks and equipment that is needed at the same time. And so if you're really trying to grow long term, you might still grow during this period, but the dollars that you spend on marketing right now, your customer acquisition cost is going to be so much higher because demand is low. Remember, if demand is low, your customer acquisition cost is high. If your customer acquisition cost is really, really good, it means that like it's spring rush. Tons of work is coming in. People are searching you on Google, and there's so much work that's coming in that none of your competition is advertising. So your customer acquisition cost is way lower because no one's advertising on Google. No one's advertising on Facebook. Well, now as we head into this weird season before fall, because everyone is kind of like, oh man, I'm kind of burnt to my backlog. I don't have a lot of work whatever coming in. Well, now what are they doing? They're spending money on ads. They're spending money on Google and Facebook. And so now the cost per click on those platforms is going to go through the roof. Okay.